Hey there, I'm Wendy Bounds. Welcome to Off Duty here on the Wall Street Journal's new YouTube video channel. How do you like to spend your time and your money when you're not grinding it out at work? Well, here on Off Duty, our top reporters and editors are going to be showcasing the best ideas in food, fashion, travel, and entertainment just for you. On today's show, we've got fashion ripped from Hollywood, Super Bowl mania, and how to sip wine without looking ridiculous. First up, though, a little rock and roll. You know him for the makeup, you know him for the platform shoes. Did you know Paul Stanley of KISS actually wanted to be a Beatle? Our own Lee Hawkins learned that and a whole lot more. Let's take a listen.
You were known for the makeup, the star on your eye, and the star child, as they called you. Where did the concept for the makeup come from?
We were in a time where there had been this great British invasion where bands looked terrific. And when you saw a band, invariably you knew that a member of the Stones wasn't in the Beatles because the Beatles looked one way, the Stones looked another way. All bands seemed to have their own calling card as far as identity. We wanted to take that a step further, and the makeup seemed like the perfect way for each one of us to come up with a character that symbolized and embodied us as individuals. Now, that being said, no individual in the band could have come up with their makeup without the other three members there. There was a synergy, you know, that made all this happen.
And when you had the makeup, did you really have anonymity?
Well, it's a funny question because people think that off stage it was Clark Kent and Superman and we could just go walking around. And the truth of the matter is, it probably worked to my advantage because I could separate myself and say there's me off stage and me on stage, and the look is different. But, you know, if you see a guy walking down the street who's 6 foot plus with black hair down to here and platform boots, you go, either he's a member of KISS or the circus is in town. So anonymity, no. But being able to separate myself, yes.
So Lee, you were interviewing him in the midst of all that art. Now, you guys weren't at the Met, were you?
No, we were actually at his home in Hollywood, and it was situated right off to the side of the mansion that he lives in. He has his own art studio.
What is he? So he drew those paintings that were around you guys.
He has a very lucrative business. Lots of people like to purchase his painting. It's just like a side creativity thing that he does, that he started doing because he had some problems in his personal life, and he started painting to help work some of them out.
And those sort of seem like flowers. Did he ever paint guitars, I wonder?
Well, he actually designs the guitars that are sold in his name. So he has $13 million in revenue a year that comes just from the sales of the guitars that he draws.
That's amazing. I mean, the thing that you don't think about KISS, which you probably should, is just what amazing entrepreneurs all of these guys were. I mean, what is it, 100 million albums sold? 100
million albums sold since 1973, 3,000 licenses that they've given out in the name of KISS. And really that's what we talk about, is the celebrity entrepreneurs. And these guys are the best. There's nobody better than KISS in terms of merchandising and touring and basically taking the music and making ancillary sales out of that. Today's artists really are under pressure to find other ways to make money because file sharing has really stepped in to the music sales. And so really just how to diversify and how to build a brand and figure out ways to make money off that brand other than just through selling music.
Well, a lot about that and more in your interview. Everybody should click below and watch that. In the meantime, you're interviewing someone else for us tomorrow. Who's that?
We have CeeLo Green coming, and he gives us a really good insight into what we can expect from The Voice as they start their new season.
The lady killer, right?
The lady killer he is.
All right, Lee Hawkins, great interview with Paul Stanley. Here's a guitar pick.
All right.
Maybe he touched it, I don't know. All right, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
I promised you fashion ripped from Hollywood, so how do you dress like the girl with the dragon tattoo? You know, kind of armed and dangerous. Our own Rachel Dodds, she explores. How do you get the look of Lisbeth Salander, the girl with the dragon tattoo? That is, how do you look badass but not ridiculous? We're going to ask Rachel Dodds right now. She's been talking to the designers, and it looks like their collections this year are just ripped from Hollywood.
Yeah, there seems to be, for whatever reason, a lot of synergy between the movies that have been nominated for Oscars and the clothes that's, you know, going to be hitting the shelves at retailers right around the time of the Oscars broadcast.
Now, if you and I wanted to dress like the girl with the dragon tattoo, now we have these boots on, right? Like, yours are a little more badass than
A little.
mine are.
Well, yours are like the pointy toes, a lot more delicate.
I could do some real damage with these toes.
You're kind of aggressive.
Those are aggressive. So this character, though, Lisbeth Salander, I mean, she's a very aggressive character in this movie.
Yes, she's a computer hacker. She's kind of got this, the costume designer described it as a subterranean look.
Nice.
She's antisocial, she's been abused, but she's got a lot of rage in her.
A lot of rage. So subterranean and a lot of rage. So you need to be really angry with like a lot of ants on you or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, I mean, if you look on the runways, Alexander Wang had women carrying, you know, motorcycle helmets and walking down the runway in bustiers and tight pants that Lisbeth Salander would just look right at home in.
Divine,
you know?
in, going down the runway. But you also could buy this, people who aren't going to buy sort of the runway collections. It's also trickled down like to H&M.
H&M, yeah. The Trish Somerville smartly was aware that this look was something that is quite popular right now. This very tough girl sort of, I guess, subterranean look.
Subterranean.
And I love that word. And decided to create a capsule collection for H&M that was unveiled in December, around the time the movie was released, and a lot of the items sold out within days.
Opposite end of the spectrum from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is The Artist, this silent film where the clothing in there, I mean, it's just beautiful. Nothing
gorgeous.
subterranean about that.
No, it's gorgeous, and the clothing, because the film's in black and white, the costume designer had to make everything high contrast so you could really see it, and like you could see the sparkle. And as it turns out, you know, Gucci was, the designer of Gucci, Frida Giannini, was inspired by, you know, Louise Brooks, a silent film star, and some of her dresses really looked like they were ripped right out of The Artist. And in a artist meets life moment, Berenice Bejo wore a Gucci dress last week to the Directors Guild Awards.
All coming
so it's all, yeah.
So do you think we'll see like prom dresses looking like that, the things that people are wearing to black tie? I mean, will they sort of borrow from The Artist?
I think they might. I mean, I think that there's kind of a 1950s moment as well, like with regard to The Help, like Emma Stone to the SAG Awards wore this like black McQueen dress that was a little bit edgier but had that sort of 1950s length to it.
Right.
So I think that, you know, there is a lot of overlap.
Now, Rachel, how long of a window do we have to sort of wear these things inspired by these characters before we start to look ridiculous? I mean, my father, he ran out after seeing Saturday Night Fever and they bought like the soundtrack.
Oh no,
and
the polyester
bought the
suits.
suit. I mean, they did, you know, and
Yeah.
you think about Annie Hall with the tie, the Woody Allen film, so inspired like a certain look, but at some point, do you just look dumb?
Yeah, I think if you take it too literally, you will always look dumb, right?
Right.
You know, and I think that the costume designers are aware of this, and when they make the movies, they'll like subtly tweak the dresses so that they're appealing to a modern eye. Like Mark Bridges, the guy who designed the costumes for The Artist, said that, you know, he wanted everything to look really pretty, and even though some of the dresses were actual 1920s dresses, he shortened the hems a little bit so that to make it easier for her to dance in, and like the sort of part of that was, you know, the audience thinks it looks like really modern and cool.
Right, so you have to sort of like make it appropriate for the things we're going to be doing in life today. I don't know how that works with the subterranean look, but we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
And speaking of movies, the star of Red Tails, Cuba Gooding Jr., he stopped by the Wall Street Journal to tell us what he likes to do in his off-duty time.
Music. That's the one thing that my wife laughs at because, you know, I've always been, the first thing I do is go in my trailer, take my makeup off, turn the music up. Get in my car, turn the music up. Come home, shower, turn the music up. Then we had kids. Music went way down. But that's still, now I got the iPod, so it's loud, but it's in my ears. That's why I can't hear very well.
Do you choose different music?
Yeah, all kinds of music. Especially now that I have my iPod, I have over 7,000 songs on it. So, and I do these shuffle plays, and I have moods. Like if I'm working out, it'll be predominantly hip hop, or if I'm ready to have a serious whatever it is, conversation, whatever, it'll be more mellow music like Adele or D'Angelo or you know, just Honda, Buena Vista Social Club or something. Or if I'm feeling, you know, it could be anything. It could be classical.
Love Cuba. You're going to be hearing a lot more from him and other stars about what they like to do on their off-duty time. Make sure you subscribe. And speaking of off-duty, I know what a lot of us are going to be doing this weekend. Super Bowl Sunday, the Giants meet the Patriots, going helmet to helmet. Let's just say this game has brought out the best and the worst of my Wall Street Journal colleagues.
We're going to bring on Evan Newmark, a Patriots fan, and Paul Vigna, who of course is going to be coming from the other side of the coin here.
Illegitimate. Move over a little. Let me in here.
Look at this, already shoving.
All right, let's get
Now,
this thing
Evan,
going.
you're from New York originally.
I am from New York. I was a Giants fan, made a bit of a conversion later in life. Die-hard Pats fan now.
Now, how did that happen?
It's a long story, and trust me, you don't want to go into it right now. I just told the story to Paul.
The reason this show's late tonight is because
you don't want to go into it. You don't want to go into it.
These switches, I'm always a little skeptical. Like, what goes on.
You don't believe it. You don't believe it's legit.
By the way, it's been a switch that's been more than a decade in the making.
Okay.
So it's not like a recent conversion.
But you're disloyal. The bottom line is you're disloyal.
No,
you were loyal to the Giants, now you're disloyal.
Was it a fair weather thing? Was it my team's struggling?
No.
So
Just don't ask my wife that question. But no, it has nothing to do with fair weather.
Look, let's not talk about Evan's past.
Let's get,
we could spend hours.
Let's talk
about Sunday,
rumble.
Super Bowl 46, huge game. I'll tell you this: when the Saints lost, I knew that the Giants were going to go to the Super Bowl and meet the Patriots. I knew it was going to happen.
Destiny.
And at first, I was afraid of it. I didn't want it to happen because I thought Belichick. It has got to eat away at him to know, and I thought this guy, he is going to go Ahab on the Giants. I mean, this is the white whale. He's gonna hire a Cajun voodoo priest to come up, put a hex. He'll do anything to win this game. He will rip his heart out to win this game.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this could be, this might end up being, I know I just predicted Patriots in a close one, but I would not be shocked.
You want a blowout. You're thinking a blowout.
I would not be shocked.
You want to see a pooch kick. Another pooch kick from Brady in the fourth quarter would make
No, we're not going to
By the way, that would make me very happy.
That.
I will say the following, which is I've been looking forward to this match for a few years. I said to my son earlier in the year, I need a revenge match. And destiny has brought these two teams together. Yeah, and by the way, it's not something, I mean, I'm looking forward to this, but at the same time, very nervous.
Well, as you should be.
I have been repressing the memory of their last Super Bowl matchup for years.
Like Brady, but like Belichick, like Kraft. Those guys won't even watch the highlights of the game.
I won't watch the highlights.
You won't watch the highlights. Not even the highlights.
When they put on an NFL show
So wait,
about the
have
Super
you
Bowl,
never seen
I turn off the TV.
Tyree?
I saw it once, and that was enough.
The amazing thing about that play is I think it was Harrison who was defending him.
Yeah, it was Rodney Harrison.
Had his hand right there on the ball. He was doing everything you could do.
Why are you talking
I'm sorry.
about that?
It was an incredible play, right? We could spend a half an hour talking about the play.
I think the thing that you cannot predict about these games is the David Tyree catch. You can't, and that's what makes these games exciting, but also nerve-wracking at the same time. I mean, I could easily make the case to you that Belichick plus Brady, plus the entire Kraft family, the organization behind it, that is an unbeatable combination.
But do you have a defense?
But then I just look at our secondary and I perish the thought. I got Julian Edelman running around.
You got your wide receiver playing.
Bill Belichick team.
I know. Which
can't play defense.
Which of course he built the great defensive teams of the
New York Giants
in the 80s.
Super Bowls,
and so it is kind of ironic that very defense. Weakness on defense may be his downfall here.
Well, I think that's a trend in the NFL too. I mean, the trend has been away from defense and toward offense. You know, when I look at this game, to try to give it to this segment a little legitimacy.
Right, because we have no
fundamentally, to me, I look at the two good football teams. You don't get to the Super Bowl without being a good football team. But you look at the Patriots; they have one incredible strength. That is Tom Brady in the passing game, right? The two tight ends are great, Hernandez and
Gronkowski,
if he plays.
Well, he's got an extra week though. That helps.
You know, right? So that is the Patriots' one great strength. The Giants have two great strengths. They can pass the ball. Eli Manning having a great year, and those wide receivers have come together. They have gelled. They are a unit now. They're great on the field, and they have the pass rush, which is just
for all those great strengths. They went 9-7 this season.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, you're right. Listen, it's a very interesting story, but you don't go from being a 7-7 team and dead in the water to the Super Bowl. So what happened to the Giants?
What
happened?
One thing.
I'm going to tell the whole thing. One thing is they got healthy, but the really important thing really is what I just talked about. Those two units, the wide receivers and the defensive ends. There were a lot of injuries. Those guys didn't play together. Victor Cruz was an emerging guy.
Sure.
they didn't know where they fit with each other because they didn't get to play a lot. Towards the end of the year, when they were all healthy, they started playing with each other. Now they understand each other. They know on the field how they can help each other.
And that group of three is as good as it gets.
That group of three is great. And then on the other side of the line, Jason Pierre-Paul has emerged as a star.
He's already heard it.
You don't have to give that.
Justin Tuck has gotten
Here are two things that I think are going to be interesting to look for. Number one is the fact that they're playing in a dome. And I want to think that net that's probably better for the Patriots.
Patriots need to throw it.
What's that?
The Patriots need to throw it.
They're gonna need to throw it. It probably favor that aspect of their game. But you know, I wouldn't say it's a total give to the Patriots on that. And the second thing is, the Giants have some young people on their team. Look for potential trouble during the week in the pre.
Oh, in Indianapolis? This is where I go to New Orleans. Indianapolis. How much trouble can you possibly get in Indianapolis? These guys live in New York.
Okay.
If they're not getting in trouble in New York, they're not getting in trouble in Indianapolis.
I'm not trying to cast aspersions or give you the.
Speaking of Indianapolis, though, it's interesting. Peyton Manning's not hometown, but
very interesting.
That's his city.
It's his city.
And with everything that's going on there, I mean, not only with his little brother playing this game, but is Peyton going to be back? Right. Will it be with the Colts? What do you guys think?
I think that's good for us. It's good for the Pats because I think there's a lot of mojo and a vibe involved with winning the Super Bowl. And I think the mojo, the Manning legacy, Peyton v. Eli, I think that puts some negative mojo into the air in Indianapolis, which might be good for us.
Or bad.
Why would it be bad for us?
You got Peyton, it's his field. The ghost of his healthy neck is going to be there breathing down on Brady constantly. Brady's going to be seeing Peyton Manning, David Tyree, Eli Manning, Justin Tuck, O.C. Umenyiora. I'll tell you this, and this is my completely objective, listen, I am a journalist. This is my legitimate objective. I think the Giants have a better football team right now than the Patriots. I think Tom Brady is
a better quarterback.
Tom Brady's a better quarterback. I love Eli Manning. I think he's great, but let's not kid ourselves. Tom Brady is one of the best of all time. That's not even a debate, okay? But I think overall, I think the Giants have a better football team.
Final prediction.
I can't decide if it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game, but I think the Giants are going to win by 7, either way.
I have the Gents by 7. No, I'm sorry.
Gents?
No, you already spoken. I'm sorry.
No, I have the Patriots.
Ghost of the healthy neck of Tom.
I have the Patriots by a touchdown, but the Patriots will get over 30 points.
All right. Correct answer is Patriots by field goal. Thanks again for joining us, guys.
Man, those guys need a beer, or in my case, a bottle of wine. Recently, I got a lesson in how to do a proper tasting, swirl and all. Check it out. Best way to taste wine without looking like an That's not it. Michael Dorff is founder of City Winery in New York. He bottles, sells, and drinks wine. He knows how to make it look good. Number 1, the stare. Hold glasses an angle away from you, make eye contact with the wine.
You're really actually trying to just look at the edge, because you can see age based on how thin that gets.
Number 2, the swirl. Grasped by the stem, give it a good flick for 10 seconds, release its aromas. Number 3, the sniff. Get that nose deep in the glass. Ah, good. Number 4, sip, swish, and swallow.
You're trying to aerate it, right? Because it's been in a bottle for 100 years or 2 years. You're trying to give it some air.
And 5, the nod of approval. Cautious but gracious. Don't overplay your hand. For the Wall Street Journal, I'm Wendy Bounds, tracking down the best way to live your off-duty life. And next week, how to open a bottle of champagne without poking out someone's eye. A little more challenging than you might think. At least it was for me. All right, that's it for Off Duty today. I'm Wendy Bounds. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. I will see you guys back here tomorrow. I'm going to go open this.